All right, so I thought I would try this again and reach out to others out there who are interested in ancient Near Eastern polytheism. Um, it could be any ancient culture from the Near East. So um, Babylonians, Sumerians, anybody from Mesopotamia. I mean, any culture from Mesopotamia. Um, the Hurrians, the Canaanites, the Amorites, the Aramaeans, the Luwians, the Hittites, um, the ancient Arabian cultures as well. Um, so as of right now, I'm mostly interested in West Semitic or the Western um, ancient Near Eastern cultures. Although some of those cultures also were in the eastern half as well. So, um, and specifically, the cultures that I'm most interested in and focus on the most. I was focusing on Mesopotamia for a little while, but I kind of turned back to so my origins and roots spiritually. So um, the Hurrians, the Amorites, are kind of um, um, the Hurrians, the Amorites, the Hittites, like Luwians. Um, okay, so specifically the Hurrians and Amorites, I would say, are the ones that I feel closest to and would like to concentrate on this channel from now on. So that doesn't mean I won't talk about others though. That doesn't leave any of them out. That's just where I am. Um, that's just where I am personally, and would like to talk about the most. Would be like the Hurrians, the Amorites, the Canaanites, like those specific cultures. So, so the Hurrians are the culture that I'm the most that I feel the closest to, and the Amorites and Canaanites are a close like second or like close behind, as well as of course the Hittites and the Luwians. Now the Hittites and Luwians are actually Indo-European or um, Indo Indo-European in origin. So, but they integrated well, pretty well with both like Aboriginal Anatolian cultures and Semitic culture as well. So, but I still consider them, definitely an ancient Near Eastern culture for sure. What I mean is the Hittites and Luwians for sure, because they were in that region for so long. Um, so, what I mean by Hurrians is um, these were people that they lived throughout the ancient Near East, um, parts of Turkey, parts of Syria, also parts of Mesopotamia, though. They had city states all around the ancient, or all around those areas. Um, so, like in Mesopotamia, I believe they had like the city state of uh, Nuzi or Nuzi, um, and like for instance, like a well known West Semitic area for the Hurrians would be Kizuwatna, um, and of course uh, the kingdom of Mitanni. Kingdom of Mitanni. So the Hurrians, their high god, their high god, their like king of the gods was Teshub. Now that now Teshub is a storm god. God that controls all of the weather, all the aspects of the weather, the wind, the rain, the clouds, all the storms, all the different kinds of storms. And he's also, a warrior deity. He's a deity of kingship. He's also a god of, like fertility as well, like the earth's like fertility, because the rains, are connected to fertility. So he's a deity of fertility and agriculture too. Now there are specific deities of agriculture as well, but and there's specific deities of like warfare and things like that. But as Teshub is such an important deity, he also encompasses a lot of those things. So he's like the head of the pantheon of gods and goddesses in the ancient Hurrian religion basically. So Teshub is the most, the highest deity, the most important deity. Now these ancient forms of polytheism, though, with these ancient forms of polytheism, the deities that originated first are not necessarily the deities that rule over all of the others. It doesn't work like that in a lot of these ancient Near Eastern religions. My computer almost dropped. Just trying to level it out here, but hold on a second. I guess that's good enough. All right, just didn't want it to drop on me. All right. Okay, so like the Amorite god Hadad or Baal Hadad is very similar to Teshub. He's like has all the same attributes: storm deity, king of the gods. Both of these deities, though, did not originate as like the highest god. Teshub and Baal both are younger deities. So the younger deities are usually the most active gods in these pantheons. Whereas the older deities, the elder ones, the ones that came before, are a little more... Well, some of them are actually pretty active. But they're no longer like the kings of they're like the former kings of the gods. Like a lot of them are called that. Now, I guess you could probably say the second highest deity, though, of the Hurrian pantheon is Kumarbi. Now, Kumarbi is Teshub actually has... I need to get my book on Hurrian and Hittite mythology out. I need to find that book that I have so we could go over all of that in another video. But Kumarbi could be considered the father of Teshub, but his true father is actually, I would say, the god Anu. Anu... The Hurrians shared the Hurrians shared some deities with Mesopotamia, and Anu is an ancient elder, like sky father god. So he's, one of the foremost deities of the Hurrian pantheon as well. There's actually a deity that's older than him, that was his father as well. And that god's name was Alalu. Alalu, first part of his name, I mean, I think that the first part of his name seems to mean, seems to resemble like deities like El, Ilu, Elil, even though Elil is also a part of the Hurrian pantheon as well. But he's another elder deity, and he seems to be separate from Alalu. But the names are very, very similar. I think they're very similar deities, and they just have maybe their origins, where they originated was separate. But Elil and Alalu, I mean, that's pretty close. About as close as you can get with names. They probably mean around roughly the same thing. Elil, of course, well, it can mean like Lord Air. Alalu may mean the same thing. Not exactly sure. It definitely means Lord or God of something. If Alu means something different from Lil, then that's something else entirely. I need to look more into that to see, you know, what the precise like meaning is for that word in Hurrian. If I can probably find it, or of course you the viewers can try to find it as well. But Alalu is like one of the foremost deities of the Hurrian pantheon, and then he was like the original king of the gods in early times, in the heavenly world, and so his son Anu ousted him. So Alalu went down to the dark earth, as they call it, the underworld, and Anu became the king of the gods, the second king. And so after that, then Kumarbi, which is Anu's son, became the third king of the gods. So he ousted Anu, but Anu fled to the sky, not the dark earth. So because Anu's nature is heavenly, so he represents the heavens, the starry skies. He's a deity. His very nature is the heavens. So so then Kumarbi, who is actually a grain deity, he has other aspects as well, though, which we'll get into in another video. He's not just an agricultural deity. He has other like terrestrial aspects to him, for sure, but he definitely seems to be primarily terrestrial. So Kumarbi is also a deity related to the god Dagon, from like the Amorite Dagon, Amorite, and Canaanite, of course, all that. Very similar. Like I said, Teshub and Baal Hadad are very similar storm deities. Their fathers, Dagon and Kumarbi, are very similar agricultural grain deities. So they have roughly the same nature to them. Very, very closely related to each other, for sure. Without being exactly the same. You can't say they're exactly the same, because they're not. But very closely aligned, for sure. Very closely related. So we have Kumarbi. And then, of course, after Kumarbi came Teshub. Teshub eventually ousts Kumarbi as king of the gods, but With there were many fierce divine battles between the son Teshub and the father Kumarbi. Many fierce divine battles between the two. Kumarbi was trying to maintain kingship, no matter, in every way that he could. But and in those fierce battles, you had deities that aligned more with Teshub, and you had deities that aligned more with Kumarbi. So, for instance, a lot of the elder deities aligned with Kumarbi, a lot of the younger deities aligned with Teshub, because he's a younger deity. Teshub's a younger god, so he's like head of the younger gods. Kumarbi is an older god, so he's like head of those older deities. So, and a lot of Kumarbi's allies are terrestrial in nature, and Teshub's allies, a lot of them are, heavenly, like celestial. I'll say heavenly in nature, like related to the sky. Yeah, related to the sky, to the heavens. What I mean, so for instance, two of Teshub's allies would be the sun and the moon, the sun god and the moon gods. They're both male for the Hurrians. Kuzu is the moon god, the Hurrian moon deity. Shemegi is the Hurrian sun deity. So those are two close allies of Teshub. However, Kumarbi has the earth the personified earth, which is like an earth goddess, an earth mother, and also the sea, which is personified as male. So the earth for the Hurrians is personified as female, and the sea is male, as a male personification. They're both allied to, of course, Kumarbi. They're terrestrial. And let's see, some other important allies would be Teshub's brother. He's kind of like his messenger deity, Tezmisu, Tezmisu, and like a kind of like a warrior messenger deity, attendant deity, special attendant deity for Teshub, and some other ones. Notable ones are Ashtabi, the warrior, Hurrian warrior deity. There's a couple warrior gods in the Hurrian pantheon, not just Ashtabi. There's some others as well, but he's like kind of acts as like a divine guard for Teshub, probably pretty similar to Tezmisu as the divine messenger. Ashtabi acts as like a divine bodyguard type deity, like a warrior attendant. Let's see. So, amongst the goddesses, of course, the most faithful to Teshub would be his sister and his consort. So, his consort's name is Hebat. She seems to be just like she's a little bit obscure in the mythology, but she seems to be like probably related to like, she's probably associated with like the queens, probably kingship as well, and queenship, just like Teshub would be with the kingship. So she'd be related to royalty. She's got to be related to fertility, in some way for sure. But she's just, her primary position is as the divine wife of Teshub. The most active goddess, though, is, of course, Shaushka, the sister of Teshub. So this is like the Hurrian Ishtar. the Hurrian equivalent of the goddess Ishtar. She's equated with actually the Assyrian Ishtar of Nineveh, the city of Nineveh in Assyria. So the Hurrians must have thought that was the closest equivalent to their Ishtar variant, Shaushka. Now there's other Ishtar variants among the Hurrians. I've did videos on this, but for right now, Shaushka. I believe that's how you pronounce it. It could be Shashka or I say both. I mean, I usually say Shaushka, but it could be also just Shashka. I think it's Shaushka, the way it's spelled, maybe, but somebody can correct me in the comments. Be my guest. So anyway, that is the most active and prominent goddess of the Hurrians, I would say. Is that goddess? So she's winged as well, and she also has she's a goddess of love, lust. She certainly would have some fertility aspects as well because of those, and she's also since she's also a heavenly goddess, she does have some association with the weather as well. She does not seem so. She did become associated with now she may also be associated with birds, because she is shown with birds in art. So keep that in mind. But she can be associated with the planet Venus, but she's not the primary one that is in the Hurrian pantheon. That would be Pinakir. So they all have, on all of these Ishtar style goddesses of the Hurrian pantheon have warlike attributes. Pinakir especially does. She's definitely like a warlike goddess. She does not occur too much in the mythology, unfortunately. I would like to hear more about her in the mythology, but and then there's the third type Ishtar style goddess, which is called, her name, well, she's the goddess of the night is what she's famously called. But yeah, I did a video or two on this where I tried to explain the three goddesses separately. And there was also someone that made a comment. I think it was on the latest video that I did. It's called The Three Hurrian Ishtars, who also has had a good explanation as well. So if the comment's still there, that's a good, it's something to read as well if you're interested. Let me see here. So what else I want to go over? I did want to go over a little bit of the Pantheon. For anybody interested and just isn't familiar with the Hurrian Pantheon, I just wanted to go over some of them, some interesting details here, some of the deities. I think I'll end it here though, and I'll do another video on the rest of the deities, because there's a lot more to go over. That was just some of them. But anybody out there who's actually interested in the Hurrian deities, the Amorite deities, let me know down below. Let me know that I'm not alone in this. And let me know your thoughts as well. And I will see you on the next video. So thank you for watching.